Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a live thing.
Okay, just check it out.
All right, buddy.
Do you mind if I close the door?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
And you want me to open the light so we can see?
No. I like it the way it is. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Hey guys, I'd love to hear. Oh, good. Here we go. We got somebody here. Sorry. This is my first live stream. Actually, I do a lot of videos regarding peptides and hormone therapy. I do this for a living. I've been doing this kind of work for about 15 years. I've been on hormone therapy myself since the age of 26. So I've been doing it for a while. I am a medical professional. I own my own medical clinic, and I'm happy to answer any questions that people might have. I also have, if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel already, there's a bunch of Geek-out sessions there. So I love this stuff. I talk about it all the time, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Do you guys have any questions about anything before we jump in? Kind of let a couple more people get here. In the chat, if you could also put where you're from, that would be great too. Hi there. Okay. Let's see here. Settings. There we go. Okay, Michigan. All right, awesome. I'm in Florida. Okay, so I can kind of begin with telling you a little bit about my story. When I was 26, I had already finished school. I was working in a big hospital, and I got tired. I was so exhausted. Like literally, I was dependent on caffeine. If I didn't have a cup of coffee in my hand on my 10-minute drive home from work, like I would fall asleep at a traffic light, and it was just and hospital coffee is arguably the worst coffee on the planet. Like it's horrible. But yeah, that was my life, and I'd already been through school. I had already been through all of the lectures, studying all this stuff, and no one ever said anything about this kind of condition. Nobody ever talked about it. I couldn't figure myself out. I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I went to friends of mine, in different medical specialties like endocrinologists, internal medicine doctors, like different specialties, and they couldn't figure me out either, And they would tell me, they're like, Chris, maybe you're just getting old. And I'm like, dude, I'm 26 years old. What are you talking? I'm not getting old. Like, why am I this level of tired? And it's like, well, you know, you work out and maybe you're working out too much. And I knew that wasn't it either. It was like, well, just because I work out doesn't mean I'm going to be this fatigued and exhausted all day. Like, just because you don't work out at all doesn't mean that I work out too much, you know? And so that can't be it either, you know? And so I was going on and on, you know, trying to dig into research to figure it out. A friend of mine, a guy that I worked out with at the gym, an older guy, well, I considered him older at the time. He's probably my age now. But he said, you know, Chris, you should check your testosterone level. You know, maybe your testosterone level's low. And me at the time, I'm 26. I've already graduated and everything. And I'm, you know, I said, yeah, you know, what do you know? Like, you know, you don't have any fancy letters behind your name. I'm talking to all these smart people. They're going to figure me out. And sure enough, like I suffered for it because I suffered for another 9 months or so, didn't get any answers. And I stepped back and I said, you know what, I probably should go get my labs checked and maybe my hormone levels are a little off. Sure enough, at the age of 26, I had a testosterone level of a 141, which basically is at the same level of like a 95-year-old man at the age of 26. So I got on testosterone therapy and it was like a light switch that went off. Like I felt normal for the first time, you know, and in many, many different ways all at once. And I was so mad. I was angry. I was actually really angry because it's like, you know, I sat through all of these classes. I'm still paying for student loans, and I consider myself an expert in medicine, but I'm not at all. Like I couldn't even figure myself out, you know. So and I at that moment I said, you know, I really need to learn as much as I possibly can about this stuff, because I'm sure there's other people going through it too, you know. And unfortunately, I cannot depend on my traditional medical upbringing, which I have a lot. Like, you know, I actually went to oh, here we go, best HGH protocol, 5 days on or every other day, best milligram per IU dose on average. Can they compound Avanafil? Avanafil, that's a new one. Let's see. Are you talking about like the, let's see. Is that a brand name? Oh, okay. Oh, the PDE. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have not seen Avanafil on the compounded list yet. No. So are you on a TRT protocol now? Yeah, that would be my question. Are you on a TRT protocol? So, like, a lot of times, what I'll do, like, my patients that that are on the first thing, if they feel like they need a PDE, then there's a problem, or there's something's going on, you know. So I like to fix the baseline problem for, and 9 times out of 10, it's their TRT that needs to be dialed in, or they need to be on it in the first place. So now outside of that, like, do you want to be on a PDE just because it's just great for your blood pressure, it's good for a muscle pump in the gym, it gives you a little bit of energy, and it's great to have that extra little pump in the bedroom too? I think that's great. I take it for that, you know. I think that's fantastic, you know. But you don't want to take it to fix. If you're taking it to try and put a Band-Aid on a problem, then you're not helping. So I would say that. Avanafil, no, they don't have yet. I haven't seen it on any of the lists at any of the compounding pharmacies that I use. But tadalafil is pretty popular, so I'm a big fan. Either I have some guys taking anywhere from 5 milligrams to actually 20 milligrams of tadalafil per day is a pretty standard set of dosing for guys. Women can also take tadalafil, and it has the same kind of benefits, sexual benefits and stuff. They really like it. But I would do like a lower dose, like a 5 or 10. Worst case scenario, if you take any of the PDEs, they can actually cause some a little more than others, They can cause a more like sinus pressure, headaches. They can have some side effects when you start going up in the dose. But outside of that, like 5-10 milligrams a day isn't bad at all. And HGH protocol. The first thing about HGH, there's a whole family of HGH medications. And the biggest difference, I know there's some differences with the medications, but they basically, in the growth hormone world, they're very, very similar as to what the benefits are. The biggest difference in distinguishing amongst the HGH medications is the half-life on the medications is the biggest thing to consider. So when you ask about an HGH protocol, are you talking about straight up HGH, like 191? Or are you talking like hexarelin, samorelin, CJC 1295? Because it makes a big difference. My favorite growth hormone protocol right now is actually a combo of IGF-1 LR3, which is like it's a very long-acting growth hormone. I have, you can take it 2 to 3 times a week. It's an injection, and at the same time, taking like a duo blend, like a CJC 1295 with ipamorelin, or like a samorelin and hexarelin blend, and combining that with the IGF-1. You do the duo blend, you do that every day, and you do the IGF-1 LR3 like 2-3 days a week, and that really gives a solid boost. So it's in your system all the time. So actual HGH that you're taking, actual HGH has a half-life of like 26 minutes. So when you inject HGH, like in 26 minutes, half of that medication's gone. Most people don't know that. But it's a very, very short-acting, growth hormone, which is the very reason why scientists have been so passionate about discovering other forms of HGH to try and make it better, because the half-life just sucks on it. And you can still take it. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but the protocol, because it has such a short I guess this is getting to answer your question. Sorry. Because the half-life is so short, it doesn't make any and I see this a lot. It's not your fault. I get this question a lot. It's like a thing now, or the whole 5 days on, 2 days off. I don't know. And when it comes to growth hormone, there's no scientific reason or basis at all why you would take such a short-acting growth hormone 5 days on and 2 days off. It doesn't make any sense. For maximum benefit anyway. Yeah, so I would definitely say 7 days a week. Ideally, if you can take it at night without eating, or not eating anything for like at least an hour before, and then try not to eat anything, after that, and then you're gonna have that's gonna be your best chance of utilization and absorption of the HGH, But so all of the advice, just as a disclaimer, all of the advice is for educational purposes only. This is not to give specific medical advice to any one person or to give any kind of treatment options for anything in particular. This is just for our own fun and education and entertainment. But I am here for you if you want to ask a question. Let's see, what else have we got? Let's see. And Andrea Ramirez. I'm taking CJC 1295, no DAC, and tesamorelin. Awesome. I like that. Those are two. Okay, so you're taking 2 short-acting ones. Tesamorelin and CJC 1295 are damn near the same thing. And they have about the same half-life of about 26 minutes. Retta, I like Retta, and thinking to add Anavar to help me increase the pump at the gym. Awesome. So I like Anavar. Now, how? Let's see. Are you working out pretty hard in the gym? Are you pushing your body? That would be my question. If you're pushing yourself hard, then yeah, I'm a big fan of Anavar. Anavar is synthetic dihydrotestosterone. Dihydrotestosterone is considered to be 9 times more anabolically active than regular testosterone. So it's a big kick in the pants in the gym. You know, the funny thing about Anavar is that if you take Anavar and you don't work out, not much happens actually. But if you take Anavar and you step foot into a gym, like day one, like you notice, like you basically get, I'd probably give it like a 30% increase in your intensity in the gym. Yeah, so it's pretty good. But you got to be careful with Anavar too because it's it is a little bit of a devil on your shoulder, you know, kind of talking to you a little bit. So like, you know, guys that are still that want to push it hard, guys or girls that are want to push it hard that are also recovering from like an injury at the same time. It doesn't help to have a little devil on your shoulder like, come on, man, you can do another plate. You know, don't be such a wuss. Like, push it a little harder. You know, like you can end up hurting yourself because of that. The Anavar itself, as long as you keep the dosage reasonable, is very, very safe. In general, it's when you push the dosage too hard, then you can have some issues with your liver function, your thyroid function, and your cholesterol numbers. But as long as you keep the dosages reasonable, then your body can actually do really, really well. I would be looking too with all the other stuff you're taking. I would be wondering if your baseline testosterone levels look good. I don't know if you're. I can't tell if it's Andrea or yes. I'm pushing myself hard in the gym, and I want to use it because I feel stalled with the weight and muscle development that I now have. Ah, okay. So are you a male or female? I can't tell from your name. Is it Andre? Andre. I'm sorry, my bad. Andre Ramirez. Okay. So you're most likely a guy. So okay. So you're pushing it hard in the gym, and you want to give it a little boost. Okay. The growth hormone definitely helps with that. I would rather see you on ipamorelin than tesamorelin. Because ipamorelin is from the ghrelin family. Basically, what that means is that ipamorelin is going to stimulate your growth and your appetite in a way that the tesamorelin will not. But it's still going to do some of the other stuff. Retta, you got to be careful. Everything's connected in the body. So when it comes to, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I do medical management for professional bodybuilders, fitness models, you know, other competitive athletes and stuff. So, so when I work with those folks, like everything is connected. So when I think about someone that is wanting to push themselves in the gym harder, want to break through plateaus in the gym, but at the same time they're doing something in the background to speed up your metabolism, like Retta, or like if you said, I'm on a kick now where I run 5 miles a day. Like, as far as your body's concerned, there's not that much of a difference. You know, anyone in the gym would say, dude, you're stalling out because you're running 5 miles a day. Don't run so much, right? You know, anybody would say that. But so if you're taking a sizable amount of Retta, then you know that's taking away from a lot of your available calories that you could be building with, you know, or have the energy to push in the gym with. So depending, I would do a close look at not only what you're eating, how many calories you're eating, but how you're eating throughout the day and how you're spreading that out and making sure that you have enough energy to actually make it through a decent workout. You know, and carbs in particular. A lot of people that get on a GLP, they have this assumption that carbs are bad, and they drop their carbs significantly and then wonder why they don't have any strength in the gym left. So, and the reason why it's important to look at is because if that is a problem, and if you are out of balance there, and you get on Anavar, expecting Anavar to do all this stuff, it ain't gonna do anything. Like it's not gonna do much of anything, you know. And you're gonna come back and say, "Oh, Chris, you know the Anavar didn't work." It's like, well, of course you didn't. You're not feeding it. You got to feed the Anavar something to work with, you know. And are there any supplements that you can take while using the Anavar? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what for. Like supplements, like, I mean, obviously a good protein supplement is really good. You're going to want to make sure you're getting enough protein in. A decent creatine supplement is good. Um, let's see. If you're looking for more of a pump, there's a lot of vascular pump pre-workout type drinks that you can take. You know, glycerin. There's a lot. There's a lot of them out there that I really like. I'm a big isolate whey protein guy. That's more post-workout. You know, but I like the isolate whey protein, depending on what I'm doing. How much do you weigh? How tall are you? Any experience with LL37 or SS31, HGH versus GHK? Ah, okay, good questions. Yeah, all right. So HGH for skincare. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I like HGH, and I just did a video on GHK copper. I'm a huge fan of GHK copper as well. Um, uh, the they work in different ways. They work in very different ways, but they do kind of add towards the same thing. I would say HGH does more than does more things. It impacts more. There are more growth hormone receptors than there are GHK type of receptors, I guess I would say. You know, so you're going to have a greater impact there. If you take HGH and GHK, it's like 1 + 1 = 3. So that's probably the best way I can. That's probably the best way I can put it. Just because they do work together. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so now when it comes to, I'm sorry, you had another question. The LL37 and SS31. Okay, so SS31, that, I think I put that in my video on mitochondrial activators. So I like all of the mitochondrial activators. SS31 is one of them. I guess you could throw NAD in there, MOTS-C, SLU PP332. Like there's a lot of them that basically target the mitochondria. So let me back up. What is the mitochondria? The mitochondria is it's an organelle inside every single cell in your body, and that's basically the energy generator inside each and every cell in your body. So if you were to crank that up, the energy production in every cell, then each of those cells, it's going to have its own benefit, and you're going to feel it in different ways. So, and it really doesn't matter which mitochondrial activator you take. They're all basically going to do the same basic idea, which is crank up the energy, you know, and because that's really all the mitochondria really does, you know. So so people will take any of the mitochondrial activators, and I expect for them to have very, very different responses. Like some people will say, Chris, my skin is better, or I've got more energy, or I don't have, I'm feeling stronger in the gym, or like I'm recovering a little bit better, you know. So there's a lot, you know. My mood is better, some people even say. So there really isn't, the biggest difference with the different mitochondrial activators is cost. For some reason, MOTS-C is stupid expensive for the dosage that you need to take. I don't know why, but yeah, any of the others are great too. Their safety profile is actually pretty good. LL37 is a little bit different. That one is a peptide, but it's not a mitochondrial activator. It is in a different category altogether. It's more of like an immune system modulator. So it can go to your immune system and decrease inflammation. It can help to kill off microbes like bacteria and stuff in your body. So that's one that I don't know, I would kind of keep that one on the back burner unless you feel like you're really dealing with some immune system, especially microbial type of problems. Um, I think the word inflammation gets thrown around a little too much. Inflammation isn't always a bad thing. Inflammation can be a very good thing too, So all of your immune response really travels within your inflammation. So without inflammation, your immune system can't get to where it needs to get to, you know. So we don't want to completely knock that out. But inflammation can also be a sign of stress, so then you can have some issues with that too. So what's the cheapest prescription HGH brands these days? Norditropin is discontinued, right? I'm pretty sure it is. Any experience with the long-acting forms like the C-terminal they took from HCG and added to HCG? I don't have any experience with that. I would love to get my hands on that and really see what that does. So when it comes to the different HGH family members out there, I describe it like this. A lot of people think about growth hormones the way they think about, let's say, testosterone. Let's compare the two. So testosterone is a very linear hormone, is what I call it. And basically what that means is that you inject testosterone. Testosterone floats around in your body and activates testosterone receptors. And if you ever want to check it, you check testosterone. So it's very straightforward. It's very even, right? So the thing is, HGH is not like that at all. Not at all. It's not linear. HGH is more like dominoes. So if you were to, how people used to like stack up dominoes in a row, and then it fans out and turns into this big beautiful picture. HGH, the HGH system is more like that. If you were to pick up domino number 5 and look at it, it would say HGH, human growth hormone, on it. Right? So that's domino number 5. That's not the whole picture. Domino number 5, HGH, actually what it does, it knocks over another domino, that knocks over another domino, that knocks over another domino, and then it fans out into this big, beautiful picture. It's not just the one linear hormone doing all the work, So if we were to pick up domino number 4, domino number 4 would say growth hormone releasing hormone, or GHRH, on the domino itself. So basically what that means is that's literally the same structure as tesamorelin or CJC 1295 or samorelin. It's literally the exact same framework, the same structure. So that's domino number 4. The brand HGH 191 is domino number 5. So if you wanted to boost the process, you could flick over domino number 4 or domino number 5. It doesn't really matter. The whole big, beautiful picture is going to fall down, right? And that's the idea. That's the idea. So, so some of the others have much longer acting forms. If they come up with a longer acting form of HGH, I think that would be cool. They haven't yet. That's in good, well-regulated, consistent use right now. So, we have to kind of keep an eye on that. But it wouldn't be too complicated to make it long-acting, I don't think. 140 pounds, 5'6". Okay, good. So you're pretty fit already. And you're trying to put on more muscle development. And let's see, Andrew, did you say you're on? You said you're on TRT or no? Just curious. And have you thought about MK677 or ibutamorin? And how many days are you working out per week? Let's Let's see. All right. Okay. No, unfortunately, we don't. They have taken MK677 away from us. Um, I'm a big fan, though. I like it. I wish they'd bring it back. Um, okay, yeah. So yeah, Andrew, I would really be curious to see what your blood work looks like, if you're still if you're struggling with some just feeling stalled out, some muscle development, a little fatigue, and you're trying to do all of this other stuff to boost your energy and your drive and your muscle development. Um, it's very possible that you would get a lot more out of just a standard TRT to start with, just to build a new foundation. You know, I mean that could be big right now because you're taking a lot. You're doing a lot right now. You're doing a lot of stuff with the Clo blend and the other stuff too. Yeah. So I think yeah, I would really. Have you ever been on TRT before? Like I'm curious now. You got me thinking. Another one that compares to MK677 is called Anamorelin. That's one that if you can't find the MK677, you might have to go. Like that one is going to have to be sourced somewhere else because I don't think any legitimate compounding pharmacy in the U.S. has MK anymore. Never before on TRT. I am. Okay, yeah. So if ever you're getting blood work, I think it would be great to take a look at your labs and see what your labs look like. You know, and because all of this could be all of the things that you're doing, they're not bad. I think they could be helpful, but they effectively mean less and less and less depending on how low your testosterone level is. You know, if you have low testosterone, then you're almost wasting your time. You know, doing with all the stuff that you're doing. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not trying to criticize you. I'm just saying there's a lot of benefit. There's a lot of benefit behind the TRT. You know, so NAD, I like NAD. So that's one of the boosters. That's one of the mitochondrial boosters, mitochondrial activators. NAD is actually really really easy to take. There's very little drama. You can actually take it every single day in small doses. Generally, I think the lowest effective dose or the least amount of times I would consider taking NAD is maybe twice a week. Generally every other day works well. So yeah, but I like NAD. It's generally very, very safe. Very, very good safety protocol with NAD. The another thing is that NAD, if you're going to take the oral supplements, if you can find them, you have to take a freaking meal. It's like a huge amount of the pills in order to have any significant impact orally, because it does not do well at all if you swallow it. It has to be it basically has to be injected. Okay, so you're in a very, very common boat, considering TRT, but you're kind of scared about the side effect. Yes, so totally. I totally get you. The side effects of TRT come from uh, well, there's basically two sets of side effects. This is how I describe it. There's all of the annoying things that can come from TRT, and then there is the scary things that can come from TRT. So let's talk about the annoying things first. So the TRT can, if you just Google search TRT side effects, you're going to see night sweats, hot flashes, water weight gain, mood issues, irritability, acne, oily skin, roid rage. Let's see. Yeah, NAD is awesome. Gynecomastia, the nipple swelling and tenderness thing. Irritability, anxiety, depression, erectile dysfunction. Like all of those are pretty rough side effects. Those are all the annoying things that can happen. Everything that I just listed, everything that I just told you, all of those side effects, technically they do not come from testosterone. They actually come from estrogen. Okay? Very, very important to understand where these things come from. And that's one of the things I do in the YouTube channel. I try and break down and dispel what people say, because it drives me crazy when people just say stuff. Not you guys, but like, you know, other influencers or people that consider themselves experts in this. They'll say, you know, oh, well, TRT has all these, testosterone has these side effects. It's like, okay, well, what are they? And they list them. And it's like, well, okay, well, break that down. Are they actual side effects of the testosterone, or is it management of it? Or like, is there a way to avoid it? Or as soon as I take the testosterone, I'm going to get all this stuff. Like, you know, so there's a big difference with all of that. So if all of those things come from estrogen, then a part of our testosterone conversation must be estrogen management. There are ways to do that. Anastrozole is one of the estrogen pills, estrogen blocker pills that we use. There's a whole series of them, you know. But generally, if you're on a decent amount of testosterone, a more optimal level of testosterone, most guys need to be on something to help block the ability of testosterone to convert over into estrogen. And then there you go. You know, so that's how you do it. So. And those are generally a pill that you take at the same time you do your testosterone shot. So your testosterone level, honestly, your testosterone level could be 3,500. And if your estrogen number is under control and managed properly, then you are cool as a fan. You don't have any side effects. You know, and most people don't know that because, well, one of the reasons why is most clinicians are just flat out afraid to be above the reference range. Not for any logical scientific reason, but just because the reference range said so. You know, so I don't subscribe to that. So yeah, that's a big thing. Now the scary thing, yes, there's only one scary thing that can happen when you're on TRT, and it has to do with your red blood cell count, your hemoglobin, and your hematocrit. I tell people that I like guys to donate blood when their hematocrit gets up to a 50. Most guys walking around town, you know, normal, healthy, adult, physically fit guys, you know, they're 48, 49, 47, you know. But being on testosterone therapies will slowly cause that number to inch its way up. Okay, so your body's producing a little bit more red blood cells than what your body's used to. And then as that number goes up, so when you get to like 52.5, that's generally where guys begin to feel the effects of thicker blood. So you get tired. It takes more energy to pump thick blood through your body, you know. So that's where. So that's the first thing that you would notice. We get labs on a regular basis, and you should be getting labs. If you're doing all of this stuff, you should be working with somebody and getting labs done on the regular to make sure that everything is cool. No one would have a 1,000 horsepower car and not take it to the shop for a tune-up every now and then, or the dyno or whatever, you know. So it's just important to do. So like you know, I get labs generally at least every 6 months with my guys. And I can tell them months in advance before they need to donate blood. You know, it's very, very slow. So if they get up to 55, that's really when you feel like crap. Shortness of breath walking up a flight of stairs, headaches, blood pressure goes through the roof, definitely a lot of fatigue. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, Andrew. definitely a lot of fatigue, and you're really not doing good. Still nothing scary yet. When you get to 60, it would take you years of totally ignoring everything I have to say and feeling like crap all the way through it to get to 60. But if you do get to 60, then that's what I call the danger zone, and 60 of a hematocrit. That's the danger zone. That's when you have a realistic, like a real risk of heart attack, blood clots, stroke, pulmonary embolism. Those things can kill you, and it is a very real risk. So about 9 times out of 10, whenever you hear about a bodybuilder that has unfortunately died at an early age or died suddenly, it's because of this right here, this one thing. This one thing. I know because I've worked with guys, and I tell them, I'm like, look, bro, you have to go donate blood. We need to get a set of labs. And they're like, no, I got a show coming up. I'm good. The labs are going to look crappy anyway. I'm just going to ride it out. I'll get the labs later. I'm like, I'm telling you, at least donate blood if you're not going to do anything else. They're like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. And then sure enough, later, a month, 3 weeks, a month, I'll get a phone call with the bad news, So, my guys, we all talk about it on the regular. We get labs, we check it. All of my guys are responsible. We do what we're supposed to do. It's just a quick thing. We go donate blood twice a year, and it's a non-issue. So the way I look at that one, you gotta be a little bit of a moron to let it happen. If you understand, if and we talk about it and you do it anyway, then you gotta be kind of a moron. So none of my guys are anywhere near the danger zone. But I like to talk about even the extremes. When it comes to the side effects, like really looking closely at what they are, and then we can tell. Then we have a better chance of avoiding them. That's how I look at it. But yeah, NAD is great. NAD is good stuff. Any other questions about anything from some of the other folks in here? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if Andrew's still with us or not. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, that's one of my favorites. I love modafinil. Yeah, modafinil's great. The modafinil is, it's in the nootropic category. Really, really good for attention, for focus, to really open up your brain and keep your brain super sharp. I'm a big fan, but it's been so difficult to get a hold of modafinil. Most of the compounding pharmacies don't carry it anymore, and there was a shortage in the country for a while. Oh yeah, dude. Modafinil's my favorite. Modafinil's definitely my favorite nootropic for sure. But it's just really hard to get a hold of it, unfortunately. I've even I like to microdose ketamine. So microdosing ketamine probably has the closest effect without feeling like modafinil doesn't really have much of a stimulant effect, but as far as like thinking really clear and thinking sharp, microdosing ketamine is like that. Almost about to leave to go to the gym. Good, hit it, dude. What are you working out? Thank you, guys. We'll see you, buddy. Yeah, get it. Go and put your work in. Get the time in, for sure. But yeah, microdosing ketamine I think is the closest thing that that's probably my next closest favorite nootropic per se. Put it out there like that. But yeah. Yes, yeah. So I've been on TRT. Hey, welcome to the channel. I've been on TRT since the age of 26. I'm 48 now. So yeah, it's been 22 years. So it's been a long time. But yeah, I've been on all levels of protocols. And I like to experiment with different things and various ones. A lot of different stuff. But because I think that's how you really learn. I started out before TRT. Well, now I own a hormone therapy clinic, and I'm a clinician, the clinical director there. But I do. I think you learn a lot about jumping in and jumping in and learning about the science, the mechanisms, the pharmacodynamics is a big one, like, that I like to talk about. Like, what does the medicine dynamically do in your body? Like, where does it go? How long does it last? What is it doing? What is it not doing? And that's really been my thing. Even before med school, I was a research scientist for a couple of years. I did research studies at research science at Duke and Chapel Hill and East Carolina University. So it's like, I always go back to the pharmacodynamics. Like, what is this? And it's good to challenge people and to question them. One of them, I think someone said something about tesamorelin. Who was it? Was it you? Oh, Andrew. Andrew said that, and he just left. Okay, so we'll talk about tesamorelin for a minute. So this is interesting. So if you were to Google search tesamorelin is a growth hormone, right? And everybody has been talking about up and down, and there's a lot of marketing, and I part of my job is to dispel a lot of the marketing garbage. But tesamorelin, you'll hear people say, oh, that's the weight loss growth hormone. If you really want to lose weight, it helps shed fat or helps, cut fat or whatever. Like, they'll talk like that. And that's the best growth hormone to take if you want to lose weight. You can combine it with a GLP and it's going to be awesome. So in reality, that's not really the case. Tesamorelin is just a variant. It has it's like almost identical twins to sermorelin in its half-life, in the receptors that it does. Like, what it actually does is the same, like literally the exact same thing. Like, they attach to the same receptors, they activate the exact same things. Okay, so the thing is, though, is that any growth hormone is going to do a lot of different stuff. It's going to help with your metabolism, it's going to help with your skin and your hair and your nails, and it's going to boost your immune system. It can help with your sleep. It can do a lot of stuff, So whenever a big pharma company comes in to say, hey, I want to make money off this thing, then the process that we have in the United States through the FDA is to do clinical research. We got to do a clinical research study. So the only people that are going to do a clinical research study are the ones that have enough money to fund it, which is the big pharma companies. So when you do clinical research for a medication to get it passed, you have to select what you think the medication is going to fix, what the medication is going to cure, and you want to keep that list as short as possible because you don't want to get denied. So it's kind of like if you want to accuse someone of breaking the law, you want to only choose the least amount of laws as you can so that they don't get off. You want to make sure you really pick the winner, so that it'll get approved. So the one that they picked, out of all the things that the growth hormone can do, they thought, well, we can make the most money off of weight loss, so let's choose weight loss. And the studies that they did were driven behind weight loss. So, and obviously it showed good results in the same way that if they had studied sermorelin, it would have showed the exact same results, So all of these studies flood into the internet, showing how tesamorelin is great for weight loss because that's what they started out looking at. That was the hypothesis in the beginning. But at the end, people somehow attribute tesamorelin to being a weight loss drug when it never was in the first place. So I just think it's the only way you would know that is if you follow the pharmacodynamics. If you follow the marketing, you can get sidetracked into whatever the marketing is trying to lead you into. And that's where I think things get really interesting. So Let's see. What's my TRT protocol? So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think anyone's compounding cerebrolysin. Yeah, I don't think anyone's compounding that. That is an interesting one, but I don't think anybody's I haven't seen that. What's my TRT protocol? So mine, I'm very quirky. I've noticed that over the years. My TRT protocol now is I am doing probably let's see, like three. Well, no, yeah. Let's see, 100. I'm doing like 150 milligrams, 175 milligrams every 5 days or so, with anastrozole, with enclomiphene daily, and that's my TRT protocol. Yeah, and with DECA, and I take nandrolone decanate also. That's for nandrolone decanate is a recovery agent for like collagen, your ligaments, your tendons, your joints. You know, I played a lot of basketball growing up, so so yeah, without the DECA really helps keep me recovering like quickly and optimally, so I can push myself harder. Yeah. Yep. Well, guys, if you, I'm gonna have to hop off. I have a consultation to jump over to, but I've been on the live for about an hour now. Thank you guys very much. Please check out my channel if you haven't already, and subscribe and like. And if you notice anything that you'd like for me to talk about, hit me up. You can you know, hit me up on the channel at any time. Like I'm happy to look at your comments and maybe do another study and do another video on one of those. Have you heard what Dr. Keith Nichols is saying about a oh, please share with us. Yeah, I actually have a video where I debate a guy that is a big time anti-aromatase inhibitor person, and we have the whole debate there online, that you can see it like on my YouTube channel. Yeah, yeah. I'm not a. I think I'm not. I think he's one of the deniers, right? He's one of the AI deniers, or he says it's not good for you or whatever. Yeah, there have been. I have yet to come across any. Well, I hate, as a scientist, I hate using the word never, but I know that guy. Yeah, I know that guy. Yeah. His scientific logic makes no sense. Like it doesn't stand up to any scrutiny whatsoever. Like the idea that you have estrogen, therefore estrogen is good and you need to have as much estrogen as you can get, doesn't make any hormonal sense whatsoever at all. Like it doesn't stand up to any kind of, because you also have cortisol. Certain levels of cortisol are good and they're healthy. If you have too much cortisol, that's a bad thing, and pretty much every hormone acts like that. Yeah, that's true. Serum estradiol levels don't correlate with tissue levels. Sure, that's true. Tissue composition, the amount, but that's the case with all hormones. Like like the serum levels. That's like, so that's when you get your labs done. Every time you get your labs done, it's like taking out a sample of out of your body. So it's literally like if you were to, like I live in the Miami area. So if someone were to take a Google Earth video of like, a section of the highway, like I-95, and look at the cars and say, this is indicative of the cars of people that live in Miami. Like, it's not technically true. It's not, it's kind of, yes, there could be different cars or whatever that are on the highway or not. Like, there's a lot of variables that go into that. True. But we still have to look at something. So I think that anyone who is fixated on serum labs who only refer to labs, and this is a problem with a lot of clinicians nowadays. They think that the lab values and the paper that the numbers are written on is like the holy grail. Like that is like, you know, that's the Bible, like that we have to go off of these numbers. And it's like, no, it's the body's not like that at all. You know, so true, you know, yes, the serum levels don't correlate with tissue levels, that's true, but that doesn't mean that you just let your estrogen go willy-nilly. And if you do, or if you want to, and I encourage guys to do this, like if you're considering, if you really want to do an experiment, it's not going to kill you. Go for it. See what happens. Let your estrogen ride up and see how you feel. Because that is one thing that your body will talk to you and it will let you know. And that's where all of those side effects come from. You know, the acne, the night sweats, the hot flashes, the mood issues, roid rage. Roid rage comes from estrogen. Erectile dysfunction, like all of that stuff comes from estrogen. You know, so some guys, like there's several guys that I look at their labs, I work with them, and I'm like, look, bro, you don't need to be on an AI. You just don't need it. But I guarantee they have it. They have an AI in their medicine cabinet, and if they ever feel it, they know what to look out for and they know how to use it. You know, but I have never seen anyone take, and I've never seen anyone hurt by appropriate use of an AI. I'll put it that way. Ever. A lot of people are saying that even microdoses of AIs are dangerous to the brain, vascular system, and bones. I just anyone that says that, like I've heard people just generically say that, like, but I've never seen anyone actually bring any kind of scientific data for that has any basis in that at all. At all. Like I just haven't, you know, and I can't even like postulate how it could do that. I mean, now I get having now. Let me back up. If you inappropriately use an AI, if you take too much AI, that's not good. Like, taking too much AI is going to crash your estrogen. And before you get any brain, vascular, bone damage at all, before you get any of that, your body is going to hate you for what you've done. Like, you're going to feel like hammered dog shit way before you get any kind of like organ issue. Like, and so that's why, for that reason right there, and that's the case with every single person, like every single human being would feel like hammered dog shit before any of those other things happen. So I use that as a gauge. So I know that if I'm listening and I'm paying close attention to how you feel, and you feel really good, then I know I'm in a pretty good spot. You know, and because I know that's much more precise than whatever the lab value. And what's interesting is that when you go that way, what do you think of HCG for men with secondary hepatitis? So yeah, so I like it. HCG I think works, is great. I'm a big fan of it. HCG is a medication that basically mimics the look of your LH and a little bit of your FSH, and it travels down to the testicles themselves to activate or to basically tell your testicles to keep the lights on, you know, in the factory. I really like combining HCG with enclomiphene, because enclomiphene goes to your brain and it opens up all the channels in your pituitary gland in your brain so that your LH, your natural LH and FSH levels can flow appropriately. That's the handle that gets shut off when you take testosterone. Enclomiphene opens that back up. Yeah, so that's how I like to kind of look at it, you know. But yeah, like I have a lot of guys that are doing enclomiphene monotherapy. You know, enclomiphene is quite a bit easier than HCG. It's a lot cheaper. It's just a pill that you take every other day. You can take it every day. And I have guys that, I mean, it depends on what type of hypogonadism you have. And then still, it's even worth trying, you know, because you can still be surprised at times. But I have guys that are taking just that one pill and they go from a testosterone of like 300 to like 900, 1100. I've got a 72-year-old right now that his testosterone is like a 1200 and all he takes is enclomiphene. You know, and he's doing great. Like he's doing awesome. You know, so yeah, but I like having HCG at the same time. I think that if you really wanted to maximize your testicular function, I would say enclomiphene every day and HCG, you know, on the regular, because it blocks the estrogen receptors in the brain that are important for libido. It blocks the estrogen receptors in the brain that are important for libido. Which one blocks the estrogen receptors in the brain that are important for libido? Topical G. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, but which one blocks the estrogen receptors in the brain that are important for libido? Enclomiphene? No. Yeah. So no. Yes. Enclomiphene is a selective estrogen receptor modulator. Okay. So it's going to modulate the estrogen receptors. There are a lot of different estrogen receptors in the brain, all over the body, but enclomiphene is a selective one. So it selectively goes to the receptors in the pituitary gland that are working on the LH and FSH cascade. Okay, so the way it modulates that is that it basically turns the estrogen receptor, turns the volume down on the estrogen receptor. Okay, that's really how your body shuts off its testicular function when you take testosterone. It's actually not the testosterone that shuts you off. It's an increase in your estrogen levels that shut you off, that shut off your. So any guy that lets their estrogen levels go up, you're essentially shutting off, or you're more likely to shut off your natural testicular function too, which I think is bad. Another reason why AIs are not harmful. But the enclomiphene is going to selectively turn down the function of those estrogen receptors that would be shutting off your LH and FSH flow down to the testicles. So it's going to open that back up, increasing your LH and FSH flow going down to the testicles, therefore increasing your libido by doing that. On the forums, so many guys say that enclomiphene raised their testosterone, increased their energy, but lowered their libido. Okay, so yeah. So a lot of guys, what happens, like I said, some guys, it's surprising how much the enclomiphene works. So guys will get on the enclomiphene and they'll come to me and they're like, Chris, for the first 3 weeks, I felt amazing. Now I feel horrible. My libido's trash. I feel worse than I did when I started. This shit doesn't work. You got to put me on something else. I'm like, okay, well, let's get some labs. He's like, there's no way this is working. It's like, okay, let's get labs. You know, so we get labs and the guy's testosterone is 1200. And they're like, this doesn't make any sense. How could my testosterone be 1200? I feel really tired. My libido is trash. Like, what are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, the problem is that the enclomiphene is working too well. Because if enclomiphene works too well and you're getting all this extra testosterone, some of that testosterone is going to convert over into estrogen. And when that happens, the estrogen is going to rob you of all of your testosterone benefit. So you're going to feel like dog shit again. You know, so the point is that like we keep an eye on the estrogen, you know, and I have a lot of guys that are the enclomiphene works so well that they have to take an AI with the enclomiphene. You know, maybe just a small dose, a quarter pill or half a pill or whatever, but like they have to take something in order to manage the estrogen. Once they do, they feel perfect. They feel great. Yeah, so really whenever anybody says that, it's because they're not managing their estrogen at all. Yeah. topical GHK versus injection. I guess it depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you're just trying to focus on the the your skin and like your skincare. I like topical GHK. I use it. I also use the injectable GHK too. The GHK is a very small and relatively delicate peptide. So yeah, that the size has a couple benefits to it. One of them is that it is going to be able to absorb into places that other things will not be able to, so they have good absorption just due to the size, but then also at the same time it can be broken down relatively quickly, so I would say when I think about pharmacodynamics like that, I think, okay, well, I'll do a face cream, but I'm not going to spend a lot of money on it. If I really want the benefit, then I'm going to get the one that's going to give me the most absorption, which is going to be the injectable. But the skin cream works well too. The original founder of GHK Copper actually started a business where he made. He was a scientist, a research scientist, and one of the first things he did after he discovered it was to make a skincare, company where he did the cream. So it does work. On the forum, let's see, can testosterone cream be used in drug-tested sports while staying within the allowable testosterone to epitestosterone ratio? No. They're going to find out. Yeah. No, yeah, it's, they're, no. Yeah, they're absolutely going to find out. Because one of the things that they do, they don't just look at your testosterone levels. They look at that ratio. They look at your LH to FSH ratio, or not ratio. They look at your LH and FSH levels. They look at a lot of things. Some sports are even doing polygraph tests. So yeah, it's not that little bit that you'd be getting from. You'd have to take such a low dose that it damn near wouldn't be worth the risk. Best immune boosting peptides, thymosin alpha. Thymosin alpha for sure. Even over the HGH is good too, but I think thymosin alpha was a little better. The melanotan 2 versus bremelanotide. I would say the PT141, the bremelanotide. They don't test LH and FSH levels. Well, I don't know what sport you're doing, but a lot of places do. So yeah, I mean, if it would still that's risky, man. That's risky. That's really, really risky. So yeah, I would be very cautious to do that. I probably wouldn't do it, like, personally. But guys, thank you so much. Thank you for the chat. This has been a lot of fun. I have to jump off. It's 4:02, so I'm running late. But I will hop on. I'm going to try and jump in and do some of these throughout the week when I have a little time. I appreciate the engagement, and give me a follow on the YouTube channel, and hopefully I'll see you around. Thanks.